Hi everyone, let us learn how to use the tools available on Photoshop. Okay, so the first tool we want to explore is called the Move tool. Basically, as the name implies, it's used to move objects around. Okay, so you cannot move object if the Move tool is not selected. So like this, I have another tool selected, so I'm unable to move this particular image here. Okay, so for me to be able to move the image, I need to select the Move tool, right? So this is the move tool here. So it's basically used to move objects around the canvas. Okay. The second tool here is the selection tool. We have rectangular marquee tool. We have elliptical marquee tool. We have single row marquee tool. We have single column marquee tool. All right. So basically, it's used to make selection. So let's say we want to make a round selection around here. You want to make a perfect circle, you have to hold down your shift and drag. Okay, so for this now, let's say I want to mask this image inside of this selection I just made. It's very easy. Make sure your image is selected. You just hit here, which is add layer mask. You see, so we just made a selection. So basically what this is used for is for selection purposes. All right, so you can even copy duplicate by hitting Ctrl J. Okay, to duplicate it. So you can decide now to change the color to whatever you want to change it to. So yeah, you can do just anything you want to do. Can you see that? Okay, that's the part I selected. Want to make it darker. So there's just so many things you can do using the the selection tool. So I just selected and I edited the part I selected. So you can decide to change the color, just anything you want to do. Let's take this back to 0. Okay, reduce the saturation. Then you can change the color to any color of our choice. Okay, yeah. So basically, this is used to make selections, right? The marquee tools are used for making selection. Now, the next one is Lasso tool. Okay, we call it Lasso tool. It's also used for making selection, but it depends on. Say, let's say I want to select this part. Okay, um, let's delete all of this first. Okay, let me deselect. Then let's delete all of this. So let's go back to using our lasso to make selection. So it's still the same process. Okay, so you can use it to select whatever it is that you want to select, but there are different ways, there are different times you use this. You don't use it anytime you want to. Okay, so let's say you want to select all these parts. Okay, this is not the perfect tool for it actually. I'll tell you which one to use. For selecting parts with the same pixel, or parts with related pixel, you can use the magnetic lasso tool, because what it does, basically it cuts out the work for you. So basically what it does is to select related pixels. Okay, so if I just click once on a particular pixel and just start moving your mouse just around the pixel, it will keep selecting, making selection. You don't have to keep tapping the you don't have to keep left clicking again. Just go around the particular pixel you want to make selection, you want to select. Okay, to just keep selecting it for you, just keep going round and round to just keep selecting. So let's say you mistakenly do this. So let's say you mistakenly make a selection of select a okay. Yeah, can you see this? Yeah, so this is basically what this does. If you want to select the whole head area, you can use this magnetic lasso tool. It's very easy to use it for this kind of selection. All right, because the pixels are related. All right. Now, for example, you make this kind of mistake, there is always a way out. So you can just click here. This place is called add. Okay, add to selection. This place is subtract from selection. So we want to subtract this area, these external areas that we mistakenly selected. So you have to click on subtract from selection. So what you need to do is just to come here, tap once on here, and then select the side you want. Just take your time, and then when you are done selecting, then we are selecting this part we want to cut out. This is the part we don't need, remember. So when you just click back here, it will select that part. Okay, we just subtracted it from selection. If you want to add to selection, you can click here. Probably you have other parts you want to add. So let's say we come here, want to add this external part. If we click here, it will add all these parts we've selected now to the selection. Can you see that? Yeah. Even here, if I want to select here too, I'll just come here. Just select all these parts, and then did you see that? So likewise here, you can do the same thing for here. Okay, so that's basically how this works. All right, so Control D to deselect. All right, just deselected using Control D. So the next one is the quick selection to object selection tool. So this one is easy to use too. So let's first use quick selection tool. Quick selection tool, anyone you want to select. Basically, it works like all these other selection tool. But this one, just go through, just go through the part, just go through the part like this. Select the part you want to add up to the selection. It will help you automatically select related parts. All right, yeah, like this. You don't have to stress yourself using the magnetic lasso tool. So though there are times that this one will not really do the work for you, all right, there are times that what you actually need is the magnetic lasso tool, and there are times that what you need is quick selection. Quick selection tool is actually my favorite selection tool because of how fast it is when selecting object. All right, so can you see that it's very easy and fast? All right, so Control D to deselect. The magic one tool is used for selecting um let's say solid colors. So let's say you have an image that has a solid color. Let's try get an image that has a solid color. Don't know if you have any image that has a solid color. Okay, let's use this image. Yeah, so this image has a solid color now. So if you want to make a selection, so what we need to do now is instead of using any other uh selection tool, we can just use this. Just click here. Did you see? You just selected all the solid color. So you can now hit here to delete other parts. Okay, but then if you don't want to sorry, if you the only part is selected is the solid color, remember, you selected only the solid color, but I want it to select this image. So what do? I have to right click, I have to come here and click on select inverse. Can you see that it selected the image instead of just okay? Let's go back. So let's make a selection again. Okay, we just selected the background again. Remember, this is the background I've selected if you want to know which one is selected, if you hit your add layer mask, the one that it leaves out is the one selected. Can you see that our image just left, showing us that it is the background that was selected? So let us go back and delete. Let's delete this too. Sorry. So let's delete the layer mask we added too. Okay. Then let's make a selection again. Then we right click and go down to select inverse. So right now it has selected the image. We just click here. That's the simplest way to remove background from image. Okay, so we just remove the background. Immediately we added layer mask. It left out the part that we selected. All right. So yeah, that's how to quickly use Magic Wand 2. It works on solid backgrounds alone. Not alone actually. There are times you can use it for that, but it works best on solid background. You can also use quick selection tool for this. All right. Can you see what it's just doing? This is why I said this is my favorite selection tool. Let's increase the brush size. Yeah. So it's very quick in action. Okay. So having made my selection now, I can just hit here. All right. So yeah. Let's now use the object selection tool. Object selection tool is mainly used for selecting objects, right? So, but then in this kind of scenario, you are not really going to achieve what you want using this, because yeah, you cannot really achieve it, but it is achievable to some extent. So what you just need to do is just to draw around that part you want to select, and then Photoshop AI is going to select the image for you. But it's easier for you to do when it's just an object. It's a very simple object. Can you see? It just selected the object for us, and we just erase. Okay. So yeah, that's how it works. Most times it's basically used for selecting object. Is easily used for selecting objects, like small icons. There are times that you don't really, especially when it's mainly used for selecting objects. All right. So yeah, just find out. There are a lot of selection tools here. Just find out which one works for you and then stick to it. Okay. Personally, quick selection to work for me most times, so that's why I use it most often. But then when I need to use other tools, I know that okay, this one is the one that is going to do the work for me. Now I use it. Okay. So I use tools depending on which one would serve me most in this scenario. Okay. So in a particular scenario, yeah. So with that being said, this is the crop tool. I don't really use it a lot. This is the frame tool. If I want to add this image to a frame, is very easy. I can just draw around here, and then it automatically adds it to a frame. So that's how the frame tool works. So we have eyedropper tool, which is used for picking colors, right? So then the next tool, we're actually not going to explore the tools here because there are much, and we actually won't need all of them. All right. So let's get another image. I want to explain there's another tool I want us to explore now. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah. So this let's use this image for this one. So this is spot healing brush tool. Now we cannot use it except this thing is rasterized. All right. We cannot use it except our image is rasterized. This image is a smart object. This icon here indicates that it's a smart object. So we have to right click, then we rasterize the layer. So now what this does is basically when you brush through a part, it will borrow related images in the background to block off that part or to hide that part from view. So can you see any parts that you don't want it to just automatically erase it? Did you see that? So that's how, let's say you want to remove this part too. Basically what it does is to borrow related. The reason why this thing is not erasing is because um it is borrowing related, there are related images here. Okay, so what it does basically is to borrow related images to add up to a background. All right, so yeah, uh the next one we are going to look at is called the healing brush tool. Now healing brush tool, just as the name implies, is used for healing. Okay, healing purposes, right? But this time around you have to make a selection first. You have to select the parts you want to use for the healing. So if I want to use this part for the healing, I'll just make a selection. I'll come here, leave out this part. Okay, can you see it? It's not very clear. It doesn't come out well. But then I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, see the borrow part here. Now the reason why is not okay. I think we need to, let's first make the brush hard. Let's see. Yeah, so borrow again. Yeah, it's better now. Okay, so basically what it does is to heal. Okay, but then you have to select the part you want to use for the healing before it will start healing. So if I want to block this off using this, all right, can you see that? Can you see that? So what it does is just to, you have to make a selection which side you want to use for the healing, and then use it for the healing. Okay, yeah, so that's basically how this works. Then the next one is patch 2. Patch 2, basically what it does is to, when you make a selection like this selection I've made now, then you can just carry it and drag it to the part you want to replace it with. Can you see? So if I make this selection now, I'll just drag it to this part. This is where I want to replace it with. Okay, so that's basically how it works. Make a selection, then drag it to the part you want to replace it with. All right, so it's as simple as that. Then the next one is the content awareness. Okay, this one is external tools. I'm going to still explain it in the course of this class. And the next one is the brush tool. Just as the name implies, is brush. All right, it's brush tool. When you right click, you're going to see size, hardness. Yeah, you can change the hardness to 100. You'll be getting something like this. But when you reduce the hardness, you'll be getting something like this. All right, then if you want to change the color of the brush, you can come here to your foreground color. This is where you make selection of the kind of color you want to use for your brush. Right, then this is clone stamp tool. I'm still going to, it's basically used for cloning things. It works just almost like the healing brush tool. Yeah, it works almost just like the healing brush tool. Then the eraser tool, of course, just as the name is used to erase stuffs, erase objects, right? So but all this two, this one, this all the tools here, the ones here, all of them work using it has to the image has to be a rasterized object. Okay, it has to be a rasterized object before using. Then this is the pen tool, just as the name implies, is used for making selection one. Okay, it's used for first making selection. Then after you've merged them, you can right click on make selection. Okay, and then it will make selection. also is used for, it can be used to create shapes by clicking here. When you click on shape, you can use it to draw a shape. Okay, just any kind of shape that you want. Just any kind of shape that you want. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. Then the next two, this is text tool, basically used for text. This is our font, so you can change your font. This is the font color. This is the font weight, sorry. Then this is the font, sorry, this is the font width. Then this is alignment, left alignment, right alignment. We have these properties here. There are basically where you edit the text. All right, properties of the text. We have your size here. You have your um line spacing. This is your line spacing. Okay, yeah, this is your line spacing. This is your letter spacing. This is your letter spacing. This is the color of the text. Yeah, this is also alignment. Okay, yeah. Then adjustments. Okay, I'll still talk about those ones. Yeah, so that is that for the tools. This is your hand tool for dragging your document around. Then this is your zoom tool for zooming in and zooming out. This is your shape tool for creating different shapes. A lot of shapes here. Then this ellipse tool, triangle tool. There are a lot of shapes. There are so many shapes here. So yeah, that is that for the tools here on Photoshop that will be essential for our learning.